Hello, Math Maniacs. This is Mrs. Long, and this lesson was from 22118. This is sections 5.01 and 5.02. We have talked previously about how to make money, how to look at our paychecks, what kinds of things come out of our paychecks. Well, now we're going to look at saving money. If only it were as easy as money growing on trees like that picture there, but it's not. And so, we need to use our money wisely. We need for it to work for us. So the best way to do that is looking at different ways to save it. Now, in this lesson, I'm not actually going to get into, different ways to save your money, but what we're going to do is the skills that you're going to need to be successful in Unit 5. So let's just dig right in. In this lesson, you are going to be able to, let me get out my little pointer finger here, estimate values using a graph, compute exponential expressions, and solve multiplication equations. And I think you'll find that all three of these are things that you already know how to do, so this will just be a quick review for you. So let's take a look at graphing first. And I just want to remind you of a couple of things here. What do we call this axis right here, this horizontal line? Do you remember what we call that? Yeah, if you said that the horizontal axis is the x-axis, you are exactly right. So if that guy is x, what do we call this one that runs up and down? That is correct. That is our y-axis. Now, I like to think of them as measuring sticks. And the x-axis is a measuring stick that measures left and right. And the y-axis is a measuring stick that measures how tall or how short. Okay? Now, when we look at a problem like this, there's a problem here that says, what is y when x is 6? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find where x equals 6, first of all. So I'm going to change colors here. I'm going to go with some blue. And x is 6 right here. Now, I know it's a little bit tiny, but that number right there does say 6. So that's where x is 6 because that's on my x-axis. So my job is to find y when x is 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my line tool here, and I'm just going to draw a line from that 6 all the way up until it touches the pink graph that's drawn in here, pink, red, whatever. All right, and so now I have made it touch the graph, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another line over to my y-axis so I can see what the y value is there. And there, the y value is 4. So when x is 6, y equals 4. Another way to think about that is that's the ordered pair right there. So x is 6 and y is 4. Okay, here's another view of that. Here's where they've done the exact same thing. Okay, so when x is 6, y is 4. Now, sometimes they might ask you this in reverse. Here they give you a y value and they ask you what is x. It says what is x when y is 6. So instead of finding 6 on my x-axis now, I'm going to try and find I'm going to find 6 on my y-axis, which occurs right here. Again, I'm just going to take out my little line tool and stretch it out across there until it touches the graph. And then I'm going to draw it straight down. Oops, I ran out of tablet. Until it touches the x-axis so I can see the x value there. Now, this one's a little bit more complicated because I see that this is 6 and this is 8. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes in there. So 7 would be here. So where this one crosses is at 6.5. So you just have to be careful what they're counting by. So here, x is going to be 6.5. Or if I were to write that as an ordered pair, as an xy pair, I would say that x is 6.5 and y is 6. So the difference between those two problems was in one of them they gave me x and I had to find y. In this one they gave me y and I had to find x. So just remember this is the y-axis if they give me y, and this is the x-axis if they give me x. And then here is that problem where they've worked it out. So that's it. That's all there is to the first goal for the lesson here. You can estimate values using a graph. If you know x, you can find y. If you know y, you can find x. All right, so now let's take a look at some exponential expressions. And remember, the difference between an expression and an equation is an equation has an equal sign and an expression does not. Okay? We were going to play a little Kahoot, but since my computer went wacky on us, we couldn't have class today. We may have to do that another time. We'll try and squeeze it in next week one day. All right, so order of operations, you may remember from a previous course. I'm going to put a new page in here. Order of operations. And you probably learned PEMDAS or please, excuse, who? Yeah, my dear Aunt Sally. My dear Aunt Sally. Okay, and what that stood for was parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Oops. Now, as you get older and more advanced in mathematics, a lot of your teachers will say, oh, I don't like that. And that's okay too. But what they don't like about it is, okay, first you check and see if there's any parentheses. That's good. Then you check and see if there's any exponents. That's good. But this is where people get confused. When you have multiplication and division, multiplication doesn't come before division. You do it from left to right. Left to right. And the same thing with addition and subtraction. By the time you get down to just addition and subtraction, you just go left to right. So let's look at an example of how that works. I'm going to go back to that slide we were looking at a minute ago. All right, so here I have this expression, the quantity 5 plus 2 squared minus 9 times 3 plus 2 to the third power. So my first step, you know how I am about this. I'm a little bit obsessive about this. I like to rewrite the expression. So I'm just going to come down here and rewrite exactly what they have there. 5 plus 2 squared minus 9 times 3 plus 2 to the third power. All right, now, if you think back to, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I'm going to do my parentheses first. So inside my parentheses, I'm going to add 5 plus 2. So let me change colors so you can see what I'm up to here. So I'm just going to do this part right here. 5 plus 2 is 7. Now, I haven't changed anything else. I'm just going to recopy it. Okay? All right, now I want to go ahead and do my exponents. So I am going to come here and I am going to say 7 squared is 49. All right, 9 doesn't have an exponent, 3 doesn't have an exponent. But 2 to the third power, and remember what that means. 2 to the third power means 2 times 2 times 2. And when we do that, we get 8. So I'm going to say plus 8. All right, now, what do you think comes next? We've done parentheses, we've done exponents. So now we're going to multiply and divide from left to right. Well, the only multiplication I see here is this one right here. So I'm going to say 49 minus 9 times 3 is 27. All right, so now I'm just going to add and subtract from left to right. So I'm going to say 49 minus 27. 49 minus 27 is 22 plus 8 is 30. Okay, so the correct answer here is 30. Now, if I had not used those operations in the correct order, I would have gotten a different number. So it's very important to keep those in order. Now, I'm going to attempt to turn on my video camera for you here for just a second and show you my calculator. We'll see how it goes. I'd pause it, but every time I pause it, I end up forgetting to turn the microphone back on. So give me just a second here. Bear with me for a second, and I'm going to see If I can switch to my other camera so you can see. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm just going to pull this over here. I'm going to make it big for a sec. Okay, so I'm going to put this expression into my calculator. All right, let me see if I can zoom out just a little bit. There we go. That's awfully bright, isn't it? There we go. I think it's tuning it down a little bit. All right, so I'm just going to put that thing in my calculator exactly as it appears on my screen. So I'm going to do parentheses 5 plus 2 end parentheses raised to the second power minus 9 times 3 plus 2 raised to the third power. And what do you think? Is my calculator going to be smart enough to figure this out? Does my calculator know order of operations? Let's see. Aha! You will notice, and I don't know how well you can see this, but it says 30 right there. So it got the same thing. So notice I can do it the long way by hand, or I can put that exact expression into my calculator and get the correct answer. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty smart calculator. All right, so I'm going to move that out of the way here. And we're going to move into step 3. The last thing you have to be able to do is solve one-step equations. I know you guys know how to do this. If I have 5x equals 30, I know that you can probably tell me what times 5 gives me 30. Yeah, if you said 6, you're exactly right there. But let's look at how we solve that algebraically. I want to keep this equation balanced, so whatever I do to one side, I have to do to both sides. So I'm going to divide by 5 here because I want to turn that 5 into a 1, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. If I do it to that side of the equals, I have to do it to this side of the equals. So now these guys cancel out, and I get x equals 30 over 5. Well, I know that 30 over 5 is just a fancy way to say 30 divided by 5. So x equals 6. So if I am multiplying a number times a variable, I just divide to get rid of it. All right, I hope that helps you guys. You should be able to take your ticket out the door now. Your ticket out the door password is... Hold on, I got too many lists of ticket out the door passwords here. Money. Okay, so your ticket out the door password for today is money. So let me type that on this screen here. Ticket out the door. 5.01 to 5.02. Oh, it's not typing. Let's try that again. Ticket out the door. 5.01 to 5.02. And the password is money. Something we're going to be talking a lot about in Unit 5. All right, I hope that helps you guys. I'm going to type that in the chat box as well. You noticed that there were lots of different activities in this lesson. If you go and check out our class notebook, you can do all of those activities for practice. All right, you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.